So the next area we're going to dive deep into is employee empowerment. And frankly, this is an area of heritage for Microsoft. We've been focused in the area of productivity for a long time, but employee empowerment is really, frankly, more than just productivity. It's about truly understanding how we use our time. And in fact, securely maximizing the work output of an entire workforce. The best example I like to share on this one is when I think about how I myself engage with a company like Walmart. Walmart is one of Microsoft's biggest enterprise customers, and they're also one of our biggest consumer partners. I have more than 20 professionals at Microsoft that support Walmart. If I want to check in on how we're doing with Walmart, to have a C-level meeting, the traditional way of doing so was to haul those 20 people into a room and say, hey, let's get a status report. And typically, after a little while, somebody raises their hand and kind of cracks up and says, things were going pretty well until you hauled us into this meeting, and now we're not getting anything done. So the challenge with sort of checking in on productivity is that it, in fact, fractures the productivity experience in itself until the latest version of Office 365, where we've been able to actually produce analytic capabilities to actually view the productivity experience without fracturing the process in and of itself. You see, today I can actually look at an RFP or look at a CAD diagram that represents the shopping aisle row and see how the Xboxes are laid out, see how many humans have actually contributed to that body of work, and see how productive they are in that experience without disrupting the flow. I can then take that best practice and replicate it throughout the organization so that I am truly empowering employees to be as effective as they can be. So you saw Satya reference a remote physical therapy solution on stage yesterday, and we're actually going to make that real in front of you all today with, once again, a real customer example. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Dave Van Andel, the owner of iMove, and John Grispin, the co-founder and CMO of RespondWell. Dave, how are you?
Let's do it.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey.
Hey, John.
How are you? Good.
Welcome, guys. So, John, technology has really started playing a huge role in healthcare across so many different scenarios, from patient treatment to empowering surgeons and therapists. Why don't you tell us about your vision for transforming the empowerment of therapists in the world of physical therapy?
Thanks, Judson. At RespondWell, we're on a mission to accomplish two goals. One, empower physical therapists to help them stay better connected to their patients, and two, use the power of data to improve the overall rehab process. In the past, it was hard for patients to stay engaged with their physical therapy when they're at home. With our system, we can bring that patient closer to the therapist and have them stay potentially digitally connected throughout the entire rehab process.
That's awesome. So Dave, why don't you explain to me how this could work in your scenarios?
Yeah, so for physical therapists, we are really keying in on how do we get back into the home. One of the hardest things for PTs is we've got patients in the clinic for 2 times a week maybe, and the rest of the program is really done at the home.
And so I bet they do exactly what they're told at home.
They're so adherent to their program, it's crazy. We actually have very little visibility into that, so we usually give people pieces of paper for their exercise programs or something like that. Now we're actually looking at RespondWell as an option for potentially providing a link from the clinic to the home.
Super cool. So let's say I'm the patient, for example, and you're my therapist, and I'm recovering from a bad leg injury here. So perhaps that could have just happened in that last hockey scenario there, given my great form, as Jeremy pointed out. So you send me home with one of these RespondWell systems. How do we stay connected?
Well, hopefully the leg is a little better healed than that when you come to see us. But let's assume that's a couple of weeks down the road.
Yeah, right.
And we've got the opportunity to work with you.
Yeah.
So the first thing we would want to do is set you up on a home exercise program with the RespondWell system. So I'm going to have John help us out with that, and we'll get you started on it.
Good. Step over there.
It's not too difficult. We kind of teed this up. It's easier than a hockey shot.
Good. So you want me to stand right here?
Yep.
Okay.
All good.
We're going to hit the start button here, and John will just kind of walk you through. This tells you that you need a chair for balance on this one, and the
Good
chair's
thing we
right
got
there.
one
You're
For
all
you.
right here.
good. Yep. So now after you get some healthy advice, the system loads up, and it's going to ask you a couple of preliminary questions that everybody gets to answer every time they enter the system, because this is important data for the therapist
Sure.
and the treatment group. So first of all, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Right
Feeling
now.
good?
What
All
do
right,
you guys
that's
think?
good.
A little warm.
How
but
much
good.
pain are you in?
Severe.
Severe
All right.
pain. Okay. Hopefully, that's not us. So
I just
then we'll
got
answer
done
a couple more
looking at the
questions.
forecast.
We'll answer a couple more questions that are just standard fare for reporting patient outcomes.
Okay.
One of them is, are you having any difficulties right now, or has your condition changed since the last time you were in here?
That's all relative.
Yeah, that's all very true. So now we want the Connect system to identify you, so
Okay.
we just want you to stand there, and it's identified you now. So when you're
Okay.
ready, just go ahead and have a seat, and Dave's going to guide you from here, because the Connect sensor is now monitoring 25 joints on your body.
Great.
So as you can see, Maya, our virtual therapist, is starting to lead you through
So
your
I'm supposed to
exercise
follow
program.
these instructions
You follow
here.
her
All right.
program, and you can see the Connect sensor following along with you right there as well.
Uh-huh.
So if you're lifting the wrong leg, the Connect sensor doesn't give you points.
So if I try to do this
If
over
you go
here,
out to the side, it's looks
over
like your
here.
slap shot.
Wow,
but if I do this,
Maya,
there
your
you go.
virtual
I get-
therapist,
I
is
get
guiding
points.
you through it. She's telling you exactly how to do it correctly. She's coaching you as well. You can see the arrow
I
being
get 5
coached.
more of these to go. Huh?
You got 5 more reps. All of this data is being collected by the Connect sensor. So the range of motion data, the video, and all of your other information that you've input into the system also comes right back to the physical therapist through the app.
Cool.
So the physical therapist could then see your full body readings just like while you were in the clinic.
Awesome. So no more cheating.
No more cheating.
Got it.
that's it. We're done.
So I can see how this is certainly more convenient at home, and it's actually kind of fun, brings some at least enjoyment to the experience. But how could it actually benefit patient health?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, a common industry problem, as you hinted to earlier, is adherence. Adherence and motivation for patients is becoming increasingly important, simply because healthcare costs a lot more, and for you to come into therapy for the adherence really limits our effectiveness.
Sure.
And so a system like this could actually encourage patients to stay more adherent, more motivated, more connected, and accountable to their physical therapists.
Well, okay, so the patient benefit then seems pretty clear, but then obviously I'm a lot more accountable if somebody's kind of watching me through a Connect sensor.
Yeah.
But again, this is about empowerment. How does the therapist feel more empowered in this scenario?
Yeah, so I think the best way to show that is to show you what the therapist sees on our end.
Awesome.
So on our therapist end of the screen, what we see here is on the left side of the graph here is all of the data that you filled out for us. So I've got your information from what you collected pre and post exercise routine, your pain data, how much time you were active on the system, 1 minute. Nice job there. Good work out of you. The routine rating and some of these others. But you can also see all the exercises on the left side or on the right side of the screen. And we've got a video record that we can also click, showing both the video record and the wireframe from the Connect sensor. So that can give me the information of, where's your weight distributed, how's your range of motion looking. All those things allow therapists to advance your program, even when you're not in the clinic.
Super cool.
So beyond that, the other information that we can look at is performance data. So say you've come in for a number of sessions, or you've done these exercises at home for a number of sessions.
Yeah.
I want to know, how's your range of motion over time? How does your knee look as we go along? So let's just take a look at your right knee range of motion over the last number of home sessions.
Awesome.
So this can really be motivating for you as a patient to see your progress, but it also helps me if you start to hit a plateau or start to see a dip. I need to change my exercise routine. I need to change something up for you.
Awesome. So a lot of benefit then for the therapist, a lot more empowered to get their job done, and actually see the long-term benefits of the exercises that they prescribe.
Exactly.
So how about the business benefit for the clinic?
So we want to empower the entire care team to run these larger reports to help them, in essence, objectify what in the past has been driven mostly by intuition. Isn't that right, Dave?
Absolutely. So I'm a clinic director, and my main interests are either clinical in nature or business in nature. And a lot of times, good business means that you're doing things well clinically.
Sure.
So I need to have reports. I need to be able to select groups of patients, see bigger data pictures. And I can do that here. So if it's clinical information that I want, I might choose your condition. Say you had a total knee replacement or a hip replacement, and I'm really interested in what are the best exercises for that replacement.
Right on.
I can start to see that data kind of populate as my therapists take their clients through.
Cool.
But I can also see business data. And for example, here I might be really interested in parsing out date ranges, gender information, or age ranges. And I can see the number of logins that my patients are having per week. So I can basically look at the whole business and get great data to make decisions on.
Awesome. Really cool. So therapists get just a ton of value out of looking at this information and get sort of not just an individual view, but a population health view
Right,
as well.
right. You know, physical therapists really at the core want to help their patients get better faster. You know,
Awesome.
so our goal really is to really help transform, use the data to help transform our practice, smarter clinicians, empowered therapists, and RespondWell is potentially a great tool for us.
Awesome. Really helpful for you guys to share this. Thank you so much. Thanks
very
Sean.
much.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Thank you.